Hello and welcome to Canguro English. This is a live English class where I will answer all of your questions about English language, vocabulary, grammar, everything. And this is my son, Luca. Say hello.
No.
He's very shy. Do you know this word? Shy? Yeah. Shy or timid, aren't you? So, at home, he speaks English with us, but then when he goes to kindergarten or when he goes to nursery, he speaks Spanish and Galician with... Oh my God! Luca, that was disgusting. He just finished eating lunch, so that was gross, Luca. Okay, say bye-bye. Say bye-bye. Go on, go watch that. Okay, so I am here to answer any of your questions about English. So let's have a look. The first question is about the difference between other and another. Okay, so a fantastic question. So what is the difference? Well, if we look, we can see that here we have an. An. So this is the singular article. The singular article. So that means that if the object is singular, if the word is singular, then we must use another, like another car. Okay? But if the object is plural, then no article. Others. Cars. Okay? So this is basically the only difference. Plural and singular. Okay? And that's it. Easy. No problems. Easy. Okay, so yeah, some students from Afghanistan, from Russia, from Slovakia, Brazil, and somebody from Bashkiria. I'm sorry, but I don't know where Bashkiria is. I need to look on Wikipedia. Okay. Another question. Okay, another question about whether this sentence is correct or not. Okay. Have you a lot in common with Brad Pitt? Well, have you a lot in common with Brad Pitt? Yes. Yes, I am very similar to Brad Pitt in a lot of ways. I am very attractive. I have a lot of money. I am famous. It's me and Brad Pitt. We are like twins. But the question is this sentence correct? Okay, so you know that in English we have two verbs for to own an object. Two verbs when a possession, when a thing is yours. Two verbs, okay? So have and have got. Okay? And what is the difference between have and have got? Well, the difference is the conjugation. The conjugations of have and have got are totally different. Okay? So let me show you the example of the difference. Okay? Okay, so here are the pronouns in English. I, you, we, they, and he and she and it. So I have divided it into two groups. Two groups, okay? So with all of the verbs in English, okay, all of the normal verbs in English, we have two conjugations like I have and he, she, and it has. Okay? Perfect. Now, if we want to make something negative, then we use an auxiliary. For example, I don't have. Okay. I don't have, you don't have, etc. And for this group, we say doesn't. So, he doesn't have, she doesn't have, etc. And if we want to ask a question, then again we use an auxiliary, do or does. Oh, I'll go over this side. So, do I have, do you have, does he have, does she have, etc. Okay? This is the verb have. But have got is different. Its conjugation is totally different. Have got, okay, and has got. Okay, perfect. But what about the negative? Do we say, I don't have got, or he doesn't have got? No. It's similar to the verb to be. We use not. I have not got. Or he has not got. So you can see that the conjugations are totally different. Okay? And if we want to ask a question, do we put do I have got, or does he have got? No, we have to use inversion. Inversion. Have you got? Have we got? Etc. Or with this group, has. Has he got? Has she got? Okay, so now you can see that the two verbs are completely different. So what about the original question? Is it correct? Let's have a look. So here is the question. Have you a lot in common with Brad Pitt? Now, in modern standard English, you can see that we are making a question with have. So really, we should use do. Do you have? Okay? Or if we want to use the verb have got, we need to put the got. Have you got? This is in modern English. But in the past, in the recent past, like 50 years ago, people would use the verb have like this. It wasn't necessary to put got, okay? So, technically, this question is perfectly correct. The problem is, it sounds very old-fashioned. It sounds very antiquated. It sounds like Shakespeare, okay? So I wouldn't use this in normal conversation. In fact, really, I wouldn't use this at all. But is it incorrect? No, I don't think so. I can't say it's incorrect. Hopefully that answers your question. Please tell me if it doesn't, and I would explain some more. Okay. Let's have a look for some more questions. You know that YouTube has a new product, okay, called Super Chat. Super Chat is when you can pay money, $5 or $10, and your comment appears at the top of the box. Okay? So it is 100% certain that I will answer your question. But what is the problem? The problem is that this means that only people with money can ask me questions. And this is not what I believe in. I believe that education should be completely free for anybody who wants to learn. Okay? So you will never have to pay anything to watch my classes and for me to answer your questions. Okay, let's have a look. There's a question here from Wagner in Brazil about the word ever. Okay. Ever. It's a very, very versatile word, a very flexible word. We can use ever for lots of different things. But what does it mean? Basically, it means at one time or at any time. Like I could ask you, have you ever been to Italy? So I'm saying, at any time in your life, at one time in your life, did you go to Italy? Have you ever been to Italy? But remember that ever is an affirmative word. So if we have a negative sentence, okay, then it doesn't always work. Let me show you some examples, okay? Here are two examples, okay? I have ever been to Italy, and I haven't never been to Italy. But the problem is, in English, that if we use ever in an affirmative sentence, we have to transform it into the negative. So this sentence is not correct. We have to transform to the negative. I have never. I have never. Affirmative, negative. But if we have a negative sentence, I haven't never, you cannot have a double negative. So we have to use the affirmative ever. Okay? I haven't ever been to Italy. This is perfect. Okay? In some dialects of English, they love to use double negatives. Like, for example, um, I haven't done nothing. Now, if you go to, for example, Birmingham or Liverpool or London, if you go to the south of America, Australia, all of the English-speaking countries in the world, there are dialects which have the double negative. Okay? Negative, two negatives. Okay? And in informal conversation, if you are speaking to these people, no problems. It is an accepted part of the dialect. But you shouldn't use a double negative in a formal situation. So you shouldn't use a double negative for applying for a job or writing a complaint. Anything formal, don't use the double negative, okay? It's not standard. Hopefully that answers your question about ever. Okay, so James would like me to explain the difference between the light L and the dark L in English. Ooh, it sounds very mysterious, the dark L. Okay. Okay. So, the dark L, I'm going to go on this side. The dark L is not just in one dialect of English. The dark L can appear in British English, in American English, in all English. And the reason is physical, okay? Physical. Basically, the dark L is when we don't pronounce the L, okay? Now, why do we not pronounce the L? Because it's physically very difficult to pronounce the L. Because my tongue, okay, I have to touch the top of my mouth here. I got here. You can see my tongue. Look, it's touching the top of my mouth. And when I'm speaking very quickly, to do this, to touch my tongue, it's difficult. I have to touch my tongue and make the sound and then put my tongue, okay? It's complicated. So when we're speaking, we eliminate the L and we just lift the tongue. We lift the tongue a little bit, okay? The tongue comes up a little bit, but it doesn't touch. It doesn't touch, just a little bit. So the sound is like half an L, like a little L. So in some dialects, this would be cold. Cold. And you can see when I'm saying it that my tongue doesn't touch the top. It just comes up a little bit. Watch. Cold. Just a little bit. Cold. Cold. But if I pronounce the word correctly, my tongue comes up and touches. Cold. Did you see my tongue? It's a big difference, yes? Cold. And the dark L, cold. So the mouth position between L and dark L is very similar. The difference is the tongue, okay? But I always say that you should try to pronounce the words correctly, okay? And then in the future, when your English is perfect, you can break the rules, okay? But at the beginning, even if you are intermediate, it's a good idea to pronounce correctly, to speak correctly, and in the future, break the rules. Okay. Okay, so a student from Moldova, hello, Pris. Some more students from Brazil, from the Czech Republic. Okay, so there's a question here from Christian, great name, fantastic name, about the difference between have been and had been. Okay. So to answer this question, I want to draw a timeline, okay? So here we have the past, and we continue to the present, to now, okay? So when we use the present perfect, okay, the present perfect has a bad name, okay? Because really, the present perfect is not a present tense, okay? It is always talking about things in the past, okay? Always. But it's called the present perfect because these events in the past are strongly related to now, okay? So they are events in the past strongly related to now, okay? So if I was drawing an event using present perfect, I would draw it from the past until now, okay? For example, I live in Spain. And so you can say, using present perfect, I have been living, or I have lived in Spain for 10 years. Okay? Because it's something in the past and it's strongly related to now. Okay? Now, what about the past perfect? The past perfect refers to an action before another action. Okay? So I'm going to here. So a little modification. Okay? So this is the moment when I moved to Spain and now I have lived in Spain. But what did I do before living in Spain? Ah, okay. I lived in Australia. Okay? I lived in Australia. And because this action is before this action, we use past perfect. Okay? Now, remember that verbal tenses like present perfect and past perfect, it depends on the conversation. It depends on your sentence, okay? You cannot say that this is always past perfect because it's before this. No. It's only past perfect if we also talk about this. Okay? Because we are relating the two times. I'm saying that this is before this. But if I don't talk about this, then it's not necessary and not correct to use the past perfect. But yes, if I do, I would say. I would say. Ooh. I had lived in Spain. Ah. I don't know how to spell Spain. Okay. Okay, so here is my example, okay? I have lived in Spain for 10 years. Before that, I had lived in Australia. Okay? So you can see that because I'm relating the two events, I'm using past perfect. Okay? So I hope that that explains the difference between present perfect and past perfect. Okay? Please tell me if not, and I will explain more. Um, okay, so a fantastic question here from Jindrich. I have no idea how to pronounce your name. I'm very sorry. He wants to know the difference between me, myself, and I. Ah, okay. So here are three pronouns, okay? Three different pronouns. Me, myself, and I. So what's the difference, okay? The difference is where do we use them? Where? Okay? So I is a subject pronoun. We use I in the subject of a sentence. Okay? Subject. For example, stupid chalk. I like pizza. So here we have the subject of the sentence and the verb. Okay? Subject verb, I like. And if we are using as an object, we have to use me. Me is an object pronoun. We use it in the object position. So for example, I like pizza, but pizza doesn't like me. Okay, so here we have the subject is pizza and the verb is like, okay? And me, Christian, I am the object of the sentence. Okay? The object. So we have subject pronoun and object pronoun. But it's the same. Okay? Myself is reflexive. Okay? What does reflexive mean? Reflexive means that if the subject and the object are the same thing, then we use this. For example, look, we have the subject, I, and the verb like, and the object is, you see, it's the same. I am the subject and I am also the object. I like myself. And if the subject and the object are the same, we use the reflexive pronoun. Hopefully that answers your question. Please tell me if not, and I will explain some more. Okay. Let's have a look for another question. Okay, some vocabulary questions. What's your name, sir? Gayani. I love some of your names. They're fantastic. Gayani Hemamali. Gayani Hemamali. I will answer your question about what is the difference between similar and same. So similar means two things are a little bit different. A little bit different. Like this, maybe. Okay? You see, they are similar. 1, 2, 3 sides, 3 sides, triangle, but this one is longer. So they're similar. Similar. Same means identical, no difference. Well, I'm not an artist, but they're the same. They're identical. There's no difference. Okay. Let's have a look. I'm looking for another question. Hello, Alexandra from Poland and Flavio from Brazil. Okay, so there's a question here from Gerson in Santosé in Brazil. Hello, and he wants to know, is it true that children learn faster than adults? Now, probably you think that if you are an adult, then you will never learn a language the same as a child. But actually, it's not true. Okay? An adult can actually learn a language faster than a child. Why? The reason is that an adult can study. An adult can use the mental capacity of an adult brain to study grammar and to memorize vocabulary. But a child, a child who is 3 or 4, they can't study grammar, okay? They learn in a totally different way. So let's think. How many years does it take for a child to be fluent in a language? Well, for example, my son will not be totally fluent until maybe he is 15 or 16, when he can talk about every subject, he has lots of vocabulary, he can write perfectly with no mistakes. That is 15 or 16 years of living and working and studying in a language. That is a very long time. An adult, if you studied every day, lived in the country and used the language every day, you could become very, very fluent in a much shorter time. Let's say 5 years, okay? It's possible. Now, what's the difference between an adult and a child? Now, the big difference normally is pronunciation, okay? It is very, very difficult for an adult to have native pronunciation. I have never, in all of my years of teaching, seen somebody with perfect pronunciation, ever, okay? Because it's basically impossible. The brain of an adult is not very elastic, okay? So, what's the positive thing? The positive thing is that you are probably an adult. You are probably between 18 and 35, or maybe older, but you have more ability, or at least the same ability as a child to learn the language. The question is time and motivation. Okay? Do you have time? Do you have motivation? This is the question. Okay? So feel good. Feel happy that you can study and yeah. Okay, I'm talking too much. I'm sorry. Okay. Let's have a look at some more questions. Um, 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 uh, well, okay. This person, I don't know your name. You are 0330 BTK. I don't know what that is. It's your name. He would like a full explanation of modal verbs for possibility and probability. I don't have time. It would take me 20 minutes to explain this, but I have some excellent classes. You know that I upload classes every Friday, and I have some excellent classes coming soon about modals, about pronunciation, um, about reported speech. Yes, a lot of people asking about reported speech. Okay, so Black Star 45 wants to know about the idiom "a piece of cake." Okay, a piece of cake. For example, I could say, oh, mathematics is a piece of cake. Or learning English is a piece of cake. Or climbing Mount Everest is a piece of cake. What it means is, it means that something is very, very easy. It's a piece of cake. Because a piece of cake is fantastic. And it's very easy to eat a piece of cake. It's also very easy to eat a whole cake. Well, for me anyway. But so a piece of cake is easy. Some similar idioms in English are a cup of tea. So we use this with a possessive. Okay, so my cup of tea, your cup of tea, his cup of tea. Okay, so this means that I don't like something. It's not. I'm not interested in it. I don't like it. Um, for example, tennis. Tennis is not my cup of tea. I don't like it. Or, I don't know. Studying grammar is not my cup of tea. It's very boring. Okay? So these are two very, very common idioms that you can use in English. And they're very easy. A piece of cake and a cup of tea. Okay? So you can practice. You can put some examples in the comments. Okay? Hello to Sawani from Thailand and Manichit Yem from Cambodia. Hello, hello. Okay. Um, uh, okay. Mm, Sorry, I'm sorry that I'm staring. I'm looking for some questions to answer. I'm reading your comments. It's fantastic. Okay, so Christian, a different Christian, fantastic name Christian. He wants to know which is correct. Okay. Is it correct to say these days or those days when you are talking in the present? Okay. So, what is these? These is plural. It's plural and it means something which is here. So, for example, these objects, plural, and I have them, they are here. Okay? Those is also plural, but something which is not here, it's something which is in the distance. Could be like I can see, the object, or it could be in another country on the other side of the planet, but it's not here, it's there. So those, plural, those, okay? These, those. Okay? So if we are talking about days in the present, then we say these days, because they're the days that are here in the present. The days are here with me. I'm living these days. They are here now. And those days refers to days in the distance. In the distance. Not here, over there. Okay? So in any language, well, in English, how do we indicate distance? Well, we use the past. Okay? Those days. So if you are using those, you are talking about distance, you must use the past tense, okay? So, I remember those days living in Mauritius. Oh, fantastic. The best time of my life. But these days, for example, okay? Okay. I have a question here, a pronunciation question about the difference between wine and wine. Okay. Do you know these words? Do you know what these words mean? Wine is a drink, okay? Red wine, white wine. And wine, so this is a noun, okay? But whine is a verb. It means to complain, to say that things are bad. And also it indicates that you complain a lot and you complain for a long time. Like, for example, you could say, Christian is always whining about the weather. Or Maria always whines about her job. It indicates that you are complaining, you are saying bad things for a long period, okay? And the people are like, oh, stop whining, okay? Now, pronunciation. In British English, American English, okay, there is no difference between the two, wine and wine, okay? But in the past, okay, and also in some dialects, like in Scottish English, in Irish English, they do pronounce the H, okay? And it sounds a little bit different because you have to produce air. So this one is like a kiss. Wine, wine, wine. Okay? But this one, we do the oo, but also we blow air. Okay? We say wine, wine. I don't know if you can hear the air. Wine. Okay? Now, as I said, in Scottish English, in Irish English, some people pronounce the hua, okay? But in most dialects of English, it's not pronounced. There's no difference, okay? If you want to hear a perfect example of this pronunciation, you should watch The Family Guy. Do you know this cartoon, The Family Guy? And in The Family Guy, there is a baby called Stewie. And the baby pronounces his hua like this, okay? And it's very funny because he has a very strange accent. And The Family Guy, well, it's a funny series. Okay. I'm going to look for some more questions. Okay. Hello, Mayela from Venezuela. Okay. So, Maxim Edwali from Somalia was asking about the rules of debating in English. The rules of debating. I think that it really depends who you are talking to, debating. But personally, I really love a specific type of debating which was invented by the Greeks called dialectic. Now, the Greeks, the ancient Greeks, it was an incredible culture, an incredible group of people. They were academic, they were interested in the world, they wanted to understand everything. And they had a special type of debating called dialectic. Now, normally in a debate, you have one person with one opinion, and you have another person with a different opinion, and they fight. Okay, they say na 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 na. Okay, and the object is for one person to say, yes, I am correct, I am the winner, and I am not correct. Okay? But dialectic is different, totally different. In dialectic, the two people believe that there is only one possible truth, only one possible answer that is correct. Not two, okay? Not I'm correct and no. They believe that there is one truth, one correct answer in all of the universe. And so when they are debating, they are not trying to be correct, they are trying to find the truth, discover the truth. Okay? There's no opinions. They work together to find the truth. Okay, so, and I think that this is a fantastic way to debate, okay? And I think that if politicians, if managers and bosses and people on television, if they used the dialectic, if they weren't so egotistical, if they looked for the universal truth, then maybe the world would be a better place. So when you are debating in English, when you are arguing, maybe you should think that there is only one correct solution and you should work together to find the solution. Just an idea. An idea. Okay. Okay, so an interesting question here about conditionals. Okay. Okay, so these are two conditional sentences, okay? If I was you, I would da 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 da, okay? Or if I were you, I would da da da, okay? The question is this correct? Is this correct? Which one is correct? Well, the truth is that they are both correct. Okay? But this one here, okay, is interesting because I were, normally we don't say I were. Okay? It's I was and you were, not I were. I was and you were. So why here in the conditional do we say I were and not I was? Because this is a remnant, a small piece of Old English, a little bit of medieval English that continues to live in modern English. Okay? This is actually the subjunctive tense. Well, tense, no, the subjunctive mood. In Old English, we had a big subjunctive tense with verb conjugations and special inflected endings. It was very complicated, okay? But now in modern English, the subjunctive is dead, okay? And this little piece is a remnant from Old English. Now, unfortunately, this is dying as well. Okay, this is dying similar to other parts of the subjunctive. So, they are both correct, but every day this is dying and this is more popular. Okay? Because English is becoming more and more simple every day. Which is very interesting, I think. And very good if you are learning English as a foreign language. Okay, I'm going to look for some more questions here. Okay. So many fantastic comments. I love to read the comments. Okay. Okay, so Vanos Gaming has asked, what is the difference between than and then? Than and then. The pronunciation is a little bit different, yes? Than. You see my mouth? Than. And this is tighter. E. Okay? So the pronunciation is different, okay? Than is used to make comparisons, okay? Comparisons. I am taller than you. Or he speaks English worse than you. Comparisons. Okay, we are comparing two things. Then is different. Then is to talk about a sequence of events. Okay? We're talking about events. Well, events, no, sequence. A sequence. For example, I came to the school and then I went on Facebook and then I watched a video on YouTube and then, okay, we're talking about a sequence of events. So they are totally different, okay? But a lot of native speakers, native English speakers, confuse then and then, okay? I see on Facebook a lot people using than and then and they don't know the difference because it sounds similar but not the same. But you know the difference. You are smarter than a native speaker. Okay. Okay. Let's have a look. Okay. Let's have a look. Reading some more comments. Okay. So. What is the difference between here and there? Here and there. Okay. Oops. No, that's not what I wanted to do. Sorry, I pressed a stupid button on my computer. Okay. Okay, so, a question. What is the difference between here and there? Okay. So, here is where I am. Okay, I am here. It is a place where you are. Okay? And there is every other place. Okay? It's everything that is not here. Here and not here, or here and there. And the there could be another country, or it could be another room. It could be 10 centimeters, or it could be 10,000 kilometers. Okay? It really depends. Okay? And also, this is a very common idiom in English, here and there. Here and there means like, okay, imagine. Okay. Imagine that this is a river. Here we have a beautiful river flowing through the city, okay? And here are some houses, okay? Some houses. But the houses are not concentrated together, okay? For example, this is a group of houses together. But here we can see that the houses are here and there, distributed, okay? Distributed evenly, here and there. So you could use this expression to talk about the distribution of objects. Okay. Unfortunately, it is now 2 o'clock. This afternoon, I have a lot of classes. It's very busy here at the school. And also, I'm trying to make as many videos as possible for you. So I have to go. Thank you very much for all of your fantastic questions today. I really enjoyed having you all in class. It was a pleasure to answer your questions, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. This is Canguro English. I'm Christian, and I'll see you in class. Bye.